South Point offers all the types of entertainment you'd expect at a first-class Las Vegas resort. Did you know our 400-seat showroom is one of Las Vegas's top destinations for live entertainment? Enjoy live performances by classic Vegas entertainers, bands, and today's hottest comedians, plus a rock and dance floor. You can also enjoy live entertainment at the Grand View Lounge, where you'll feel all the vibes of old Las Vegas. Enjoy the music, and if you love to laugh, don't miss The Dirty at 12:30, our very own free comedy show, every Friday night at 12:30 a.m. in the Grand View Lounge. The Dirty is 100% free, so arrive early. Go to southpointcasino.com or call the box office at 77136 for today's performances at the showroom and the Grand View Lounge. When you're ready for your favorite cocktail, stop in and unwind at one of our 7 specialty lounges. There's a bar around every corner, because you're in Vegas, baby. South Point Casino has plenty of attractions for the whole family. Catch a movie. Our 16-screen movie theater includes 2 XD Extreme screens for the ultimate in viewing, sound, and luxury. After the show, treat the family to a variety of treats at our old-fashioned ice cream parlor, Kate's Corner. We scoop up a variety of creamy concoctions, including smoothies, hand-dipped cones, milkshakes, malts, sodas, and sundaes. At Kate's, there's something for everyone. And if you still got time to spare, our bowling center might be right up your alley. Voted Best of Las Vegas, it's a great place for friends and family fun. 64 lanes, a pro shop, snack bar, and arcade. And while the kids are bowling, you can play slots and sip on a drink in the Alley Cat Lounge while overlooking the lanes. For our more serious and professional bowlers, the South Point is also home to a separate tournament bowling plaza.
Welcome in, sports fans, sports bettors. A very happy Tuesday, this October 22nd. Thank you so much for joining us here. This is Sports by the Book, live from the South Point Hotel and Casino. I'm Alex White, alongside professional sports bettor Kenny White. We will start off a little recap from yesterday, and then we will dive into today's action. 2 college football games on the board, 2 NBA games. It is officially basketball season. And then we have 16 NHL hockey games. It is the Frozen Frenzy. Every team will be in action tonight. So we'll go over some of our favorites, some that we think we have a little edge on, that we like some bets in. So we will get to that very soon. Let's talk about Monday Night Football, though. 2 football games last night, a little bit of everything. We had an over cover. Baltimore won 41-31 over Tampa Bay. And then we had a underdog come in with the Arizona Cardinals. They were just a 1-point dog at home to the Los Angeles Chargers. Low scoring game there, 17-15, so that one did stay under the total. Baltimore Ravens and Tampa Bay, though, flew over that total that closed at 51. So a dog, a favorite, an over, and an under. What'd you think of last night's games? Lamar Jackson is now the favorite to win the MVP once again.
Hi, Alex. Good morning. Yeah, he should be. The performance he's had, and that this is the best offense in the NFL. I think I have them the highest scoring team in the NFL, Detroit number 2. I'll run those numbers again today to update them. But again, road favorites, and you said a dog covered last night. I don't really think that's a dog when it's that low of a point spread. So on my numbers, though, anybody over 3 or more on the road, Baltimore covers 17, 2, and 3 this year, road teams. It's just amazing how good they've been.
It really is. And as I said it, I was thinking that because I do know that you do use that 3-point to decide if it is a favorite or an underdog. But
yeah, well, it just used to bother me when you hear somebody coming on ABC, NBC, CBS, and then the underdog today in the game. And I'm like, that's really not. It's a coin flip game, really. It's 52% or 48%, pretty much close to even, with a 1-point favorite. And I feel like even with a 2.5-point favorite, it's still a game that I used to just count as a tie when I used to do my win totals 30 years ago, because I didn't have percentages and computers to break all that down that way to be precise. I would just give a tie for anybody that was 2.5 or less.
And it was a coin flip game. It really could have gone either way. Cardinals, very good coaching, played the Chargers' way of playing, right? Their defense looked better. They had very good run game. with James Conner and Kyler Murray himself. So
that's big, and that when you have a quarterback like Kyler Murray, he's going to win some games that maybe he shouldn't, and that was a game I lost. I bet I laid the points or the point with the Chargers, feeling they were the better team, and I thought may have a little home advantage, but probably not. Arizona still does draw one. I didn't watch the game at all because there's so much going on, and I'm crunching numbers I was trying to get information out for college football and get all of that information done so I could send that out to all my clients that get that in their email package every morning. So did a lot last night, stayed up late last night, and knew I could because I knew that you were going to handle my morning podcast, which was nice.
Yes, Bet the Gambit. Make sure you go to that as well. I was wrong, too. I was on the Chargers. I was also on the Ravens, though, a little Harbaugh money line for me with those two. But I will say Justin Herbert did have 349 passing yards, so we are starting to see that offense spread it out and come alive a little bit. So that is good to see for the Chargers moving forward. You did have a winner in hockey, Tampa Bay, Toronto, the only hockey game yesterday. You did like over in that one. Toronto won 5-2. Vasilevsky was actually pulled from that game. Both those teams are going again today, and we will get to that soon. But let's go to some college football because we do have two games tonight. Conference USA, we're going to break down these games for you. Sam Houston State, Florida International. Now, kind of opposite with their straight-up record. Sam Houston State 5-2 on the year, 2-1 in conference. Florida International has struggled 2-5 and 1-2 in conference. But we might have a quarterback out for Sam Houston State, which makes this game pretty interesting. They are the favorite, 5-point favorite here at the South Point, total 46.5. What do you know, or what are you thinking with Hunter Watson going for Sam Houston State? So he started the game against Western Kentucky, and then he did not come back in. I couldn't really find anything. It didn't seem like a very serious injury. So we'll see. But he played very good in that first half. 6 of 9, 128 yards and 2 touchdowns. They did end up losing to Western Kentucky, who was a small dog on the road. But total, again, 46.5. Anything for you in this one?
Well, the injury to Hunter Watson was a concussion.
Okay.
And it's not stated many places, but I did find it in one spot. So hoping that is the truth. And it may not be. It may be a reporter that was taking a guess. But if you're guessing concussion, it was probably a head injury. And a concussion on a short week now, if Sam Houston was playing Saturday, there'd probably be a chance he could play. I don't think that he'll play in this game. So it'll probably be Jace Bauer, the backup quarterback, has had a little bit of experience, and it is a running offense. He is a dual threat. Hunter Watson was their leading rusher with 407 yards, but they've got two backs, McKinney and Drucker, who are really good backs. This is a run-oriented football team, and I know you talked about it earlier. Almost double the projected yardage. So close. It's probably 1.95%, 218 yards I have for Sam Houston and 111 for Florida International. So I would be leaning to Sam Houston. They are 5-2. They need a win. One more win gets them bowl eligible. Florida International has struggled this year, 2-5, but they are 4-3 ATS. Mike McIntyre, the head coach, was at Colorado, started his career there, started at San Jose, did well at San Jose, moved on to Colorado, but struggled there and was fired, and now here he is trying to reinvent himself at Florida International. I'm sure he will do well because he has coaching experience, and he is in a smaller league, so I'm sure Mike McIntyre will make it work at FIU. But right now, 113th ranked offense, 115th ranked defense, 122nd overall. I have them 93 rating. I have a 4.5-point difference in the teams. I know there's not really any home advantage here, and you can take a 1.5 off for Watson being out. So basically, I think Sam Houston should be about 3, but with that rushing edge, and if they can double them up, we know they're going to run for 200 yards tonight. If they double them up in this game, 70% chance of cover. So no way I can play the dog, but I could lean towards playing the favorite.
Let me add a little bit extra there, too, for Sam Houston State. Home revenge. FIU won last year 33-27 in double overtime. So we can add that as well. And we went over our top 10 running percentage teams for college football yesterday. Sam Houston State comes in at number 10. So you already talked about it, running 63% of the time, but not crazy slow, 27.7 seconds per play.
Yeah, both teams right around average. Florida International 27.5 seconds, so they rank 69th in pace, whereas you mentioned Sam Houston 74th. Florida International, a balanced attack, 52% run. They come in 85th in rushing, basically like 49th in passing.
Can we get points from both teams here? Because I made this game 55. I know yours was I had this 5 points difference too, but I mean, geez, mine's 9 higher than what it is right now at the book. I think I like your number better than mine. You have it 52.
FIU is 4-3 to the over. Sam Houston 3-4. I know Florida International has a little trouble stopping the run, so there could be some big runs for Sam Houston tonight. As I said, their quarterback, who will be playing, I think will be playing, Jace Bauer. He is a junior, and I know he has some experience in the program. 6'2", 220, big kid. Oh, that's right. He not in the program. He came from Central Michigan, where he was the starter at Central Michigan last year, and he was a dual threat there. 10 rushing touchdowns. So, yeah, I didn't think I had that big of a difference off between the quarterbacks. Like I said, I think it was like a 1 point difference. I don't have my book. I left my book at home.
Okay, so you are not playing that one because your numbers kind of lean to the dog.
Not the side, but I am on the total over. I went over 46, and there is 46 and a halves in the there's all 46 and a halves now. And that's about where the market is, 46 and a half here at the South Point. Oh, South Point has 5 on Sam Houston State. There are some other 5s in the market, but predominantly I would say 4.5 is the number on the side.
Let's go to the second game on the board with UTEP going to Louisiana Tech. It's been a little bit of a struggle for the Bulldogs here. They are 2-4 on the year, 1-2 in conference, but I think this team is better than their record shows. On the flip side, El Paso 1-6 and 1-3 in conference. They are coming off their first win of the year over Florida International. They won last week 30-21. So the number on this one here at the South Point, Louisiana Tech -6.5, total 49.
Yeah, two good coaches. Scotty Walden, I've been talking about him with UTEP. Came from Stephen F. Austin, and I think he'll build this UTEP program up. That was a good win, their first win of the year. I'm sure that they'll feel good about that this week. I'm sure it'll be a good practice. But I have Louisiana Tech an 8-point favorite in the game. Was 6 yesterday. I guess there's still 6s in the marketplace, a couple of 6.5s. Louisiana Tech, I have better offensively, 121 to 130, and better defensively, 89th Louisiana Tech to 105 on UTEP. Overall, I have a 5-point difference, 3 points for Louisiana Tech's home. So 8's the right number, but I'm not going to lay 6. It's really close. My total 48.5 is right there. It was 50.5 and bet down. I think it came down this morning because I had 50.5 late last night. We're looking at 48.5s now.
I am leaning to the favorite as well. I actually made them 9.5 here at home, but I don't think I have added in with the coach for UTEP, which you clearly have a lot of respect for. And so that does have to go into your number as well if you have good coaches.
Well, you would hope that was figured into your power ratings at the beginning of the year. So hard to adjust, week to week on that. You just, if he's doing a great job spread cover-wise, you don't want to be betting against him. But UTEP is just 2-5. It is going to take Walden a couple of years to get to the point where you say, I don't want to bet against him. It's like Kansas State's coach. He's been there 5 or 6 years, and I still continue to bet against him at times, and I just know I should not be, and his teams continue to overachieve. It doesn't matter who they play. Walden for UTEP is not at that point yet.
Yeah.
He'll get there in 3 years, and he'll be one of those guys you say, can't bet against UTEP.
Yes.
But you can now.
Yes. Okay, well, it is a play for me. That's definitely enough difference there, 3-point difference for me on the side with Louisiana Tech. And I think that's a heartbreak loss for them. So, because they are coming off a loss too.
Yeah, Louisiana Tech hasn't had the greatest of years. They're
New Mexico State.
So, yeah, that was a really bad loss. I laid the points that game. I talked myself into it because they were the better team, but Definitely should not have. I laid points with a bad team, and you don't want to ever do that. So why would you want to lay it again?
There you go. That is why your number is lower. Yeah. You made sure to adjust them and not be on them.
And I didn't even take my 20% off. That would be 1.6 points. So really, my betting number is 6.5. So I have no difference from what the betting line is. I think the line is very, very sharp in this game.
So just a play on the over in the first game for us with Conference USA games. We'll have more tomorrow for college football. Again, I'm sorry I forgot about the chat yesterday. I will be more attentive today. So if you have games that you would like us to go over tomorrow, please put those in the chat. Myself and Vince, because I might need a little help here, Vince, we'll write those down. We'll have those, and we will go through those tomorrow in the second half of Sports by the Book at about 9:30. So please, any requests, college or NFL, we will take all of the requests. But that's it for today for college football. We'll have more tomorrow. We're going to go to, I do have couple more with college, though, before we switch over to hockey, because I wrote down a couple games here that I want your opinion and kind of just looking through with the home field advantage and how much points we're going to give the home team here.
Okay.
Because we've been talking a lot about if the road team is better, we're not giving full home field to the home team. So looking at Louisville and Boston College, now we know Louisville is better than Boston College, but I'm curious with what your home field number is and if you think we should give the full home field advantage.
Yeah, and a lot of these are subjective.
Yes.
Knowing how strong that home field is. There are some crowds that are so good, like Tennessee against Alabama. I gave the full, even though I had Alabama the better team, I had to give home field for Tennessee because you have 110 people screaming and yelling, and they're good fans. That helped them win that football game. Now, this game, Boston College, another team that does have good fans. They will be sold out. They will be loud. They're well coached, but Bill O'Brien just in his first year there.
He has done very
I have
well,
a 12.5 point difference between the two teams, and if I gave full home, I'd make it 6.5, and that's what it is on my power rating sheet. But there's no way I can give that many points with 12.5. Point difference in the two teams, or if I do the right math, 11.5 to be exact. I take off about 3 points off that.
Okay.
So I really should have the game about 9.5. This is going to be a no play for me, other than I'll probably be on it under again. I was on BC under last week, and that didn't look good. When you look at the final score, you're like, wow, you were really way off, but I really wasn't. There were so many turnovers that created scores in that game. There was at least 4 scores created because of turnovers. BC wants to play defense. They want to run the football. They want to control the clock. They run it 63% of the time, 13th most in college football, and they play slow. So they're 113th in pace. Louisville doesn't play fast either. They're 98th in pace. They just can score points. They average 36 points per game. They allow 19.5. So that shows you Louisville's defense is still good. Even after giving up 52 to Miami, they only allow 19 points per game.
Wow.
BC averages 27, gives up 15. That's 42 points. And they are at home. I think they dictate this pace. They're 5-2 under on the year. So I do like this game under, BC and Louisville under.
Okay, so 7 and 7.5 out there right now for Louisville, laying that on the road. We're not interested in the side, though, so just found a good under there by asking you.
It's going to be tough. Louisville also coming off that Miami game. That may be tough for them to bounce back and go on the road because they were in that game and they had a chance, and now, they have a record of 4-3. They do need 2 more wins for a bowl bid, but so does Boston College. So, I would not want to lay points with Louisville in this spot.
Okay. Another game on the list. Well, we talked about this off air, but Notre Dame and Navy, that is a neutral site, so clearly no home field advantage for either team in that one. That's going to be an interesting game, and we will have to talk about that because my numbers definitely say Notre Dame, but I do want to dive into it and get your take more. We don't have to now unless you're ready. You want to give us some?
I have numbers on it. I'm going to have to make an adjustment on my sheet because I didn't have a neutral game, and I took my schedules early in July from a site that didn't have this as a neutral. So I have an 18.5-point difference. Notre Dame is one of the best defenses in the entire country. They don't have extra time to prepare for the triple option, but I guarantee you Marcus Freeman has spent some time earlier in the year working on this. He knows he had to face this offense, so he knows it takes extra preparation time. I'm sure they'll be well prepared to slow down Navy. They won't stop them, but they'll slow them down. But I like Notre Dame here. There'll be a ton of Notre Dame fans at the game. There always are, no matter where they play. There'll be a lot of Navy fans there as well. But both these teams, with Notre Dame having a loss and Navy coming in 6-0, that has to grab the Irish's attention. The players.
Oh yeah.
Hey, they're 6-0. We're not 6-0. We're 6. Okay, they're 6-0. Well, we want to give them their first loss. I think you're going to see a very focused Notre Dame team, and they're good. They are a very good team. 5-2 ATS this year. Navy is 5-1 ATS, and they're good as well. But Notre Dame's the better team, and that defense is just smothering. I think Navy will have a really tough day offensively.
What'd you make that total? Because I know I do have a play on the under.
I do as well.
Okay.
Big play under. I made it 43. We know Navy's going to run. We know they're very methodical on offense. They will take their time, and both these defenses are good. Like I said, Notre Dame, I think, is the best defense in the country. They're allowing just 11.7 points per game. They're going to be really tough to run against.
Just one slip up for them with a loss earlier this year to Northern Illinois. But I'm going to give you a rotation number. That'll be easier. 161, 162. Texas Tech goes to TCU. Texas Tech is the better football team rating-wise, but are we giving TCU full home field advantage?
Do you? I have TCU rated higher.
Do you?
Yeah, I have TCU rated 6.5 points higher than Texas Tech. I made the game 10. So, yeah, I'm giving full home advantage in that game.
They are a 7-point favorite.
I have TCU offensive rank 33, TCU 40, Texas Tech 41. The big difference in the game, Texas Tech's defense, I have 90th in the country, TCU number 38. So that's my big difference. But I have Texas Tech, the 58th ranked team, and TCU number 18.
Wow.
I know they're 4-3, and they're only 2-5 ATS. They have not played well. Performance rating, projected rushing yards, actually, not performance rating. I do have that on here, I think. Or did I put that? No, I didn't put that on the sheet, performance rating. But I have Texas Tech winning the rushing battle, but barely, 153 to 123, 30-yard advantage. Not big enough to, make any adjustments. But I don't want to lay the favorite. If I take 20% off, I'm only making this game 8. And the total I made 69.5. It is 66.
I have these two very close, but 157 and 160th. So I might have to check that and see how TCU does this weekend and how my number is. But so, yes, you gave full home field there for TCU. I might have actually taken some off of that as well because I have TCU as a 3-point favorite, but I would like to be on the dog in that one if I can make enough cases there for the Red Raiders.
I don't have my home revenge in front of me. Not if there's revenge there, but these two probably play. They're pretty good rivals.
Yeah.
As I mentioned last week, TCU played somebody I thought that maybe they could look past because they were playing Texas Tech. Can't remember who it was.
TCU played Utah?
Oh, they definitely weren't looking past Utah, but maybe it was another game. But this is also,
And Texas Tech played Baylor, and we were on the Baylor Bears.
Yeah. Baylor played well, really well. And the reason why is I don't have Texas Tech rated that high.
Yeah.
Again, 108.5. They're 58th best team in the country.
Should be an interesting one. I have another one for you, though.
Yep.
Vanderbilt, the Dynamite team that took down Alabama and Kentucky, correct? Been playing very well. They are hosting Texas. Texas still top 5 in most people's power ratings, including ours. So are we giving Vanderbilt home field advantage in this one?
Yeah, I have a 27-point difference between the two. And, looking at this KW line, boy, I this is the line I already took 20% off. This is my line on my sheet that I put on here to put all this information together. So now I understand why, because I was looking at Liberty thinking I had a 24-point difference on Liberty, but only made them 17.5. I've already calculated in taking home field away from some of these teams on this line. I keep thinking about maybe I should switch my power ratings to adding this part of the equation in for people. As I say, the power ratings are 75% of the work. The other 25% is that tangible stuff that you do to mold your line into a better line. And I do that on my sheet, and I should probably start doing it for the power rating subscribers, but I haven't done that yet. And I probably could do it pretty easily in my back end in Access, but I have taken off home field here in this game.
Okay.
And made this game 19.5. I have a 27.5 point difference between the two, but when you take off 20%, that's almost 6 points. So I gave 2 points home field for Vanderbilt is all I gave. So 19.5. I'm worried about I guess it would be a letdown. It'd be a letdown. Most of the time I feel like letdowns are after a big win, but you can have letdowns after a tough loss. And Texas may have a little bit of a letdown, or they may have, like I said, learned a lot about themselves and take their frustrations out on Vanderbilt, even though Vanderbilt's really good. And they know Vanderbilt's really good because they know that if Vanderbilt upset Alabama, that gets everyone else's attention in the SEC. So I think Sarkisian's team will be ready, and they just may take their frustrations out on Vanderbilt in this game. We'll see if they can do it or not. It's one thing to say they, want to, but it's one thing to be able to do it.
Right. And we talked about Georgia being the most physical team that they had played so far. So physically, it might have taken a lot out of them too.
Yeah, it may have. But again, I tell you, I'm sure they learned so much about themselves, and they want another shot at Georgia. There is no doubt every player on that team saying to themselves, we could have beat them. If we would have played the entire game like we played the second half, we win the game. So they're going to be ready, and they need, their coach Sarkisian's telling them, you can't lose again. You got to keep winning. And if we do, we will see Georgia again.
2 more games for you really quickly. Sorry, I'm taking more time than I expected.
No, that's great.
Just 2 games down the board, 183, 184. Arkansas going to Mississippi State. So as I mentioned, Mississippi State has been playing very competitive against some really good SEC teams. I know Arkansas is the better team, though. Just curious on Mississippi State and if we should give them home field advantage.
Yeah, Mississippi State's 4-3 ATS now this year. So as bad as they were early, they've actually gotten better, improved as a team. Jeff Lebby in his first year is doing a good job. That all can turn around in a heartbeat as well, because these weaker teams, once they are not bowl eligible and have no chance, sometimes, now with NIL and the transfer portal, you start getting kids thinking, is this where I want to be? Do I want to go? They are 1-6.
Yep.
He's talking them into running the board and going 6-6 and getting a bowl game. I know that's been talked about. It has to have been. So this may be the last really great effort you see from Mississippi State, other than when they play Mississippi in the Egg Bowl. That will be a big-time performance for them. But Arkansas, I have a 7-point favorite right on the number. No difference for me there. I've been improving Arkansas from the beginning of the year. They were a team I think had a little underrated, but we know Sam Pittman's on the hot seat. And I made a case for her last week that he was on the hot seat, and I thought LSU was the better team. And if you don't give home advantage in that type of game, you get a bet on LSU.
Right. Last but not least, Penn State is going to Wisconsin. Wisconsin, I think they've turned the page a little bit here. They are playing very good football, but Penn State still top 5 team in most people's power ratings. You want to talk about one of the best defenses? They are definitely one of the best defenses in the country. So Wisconsin, do they get home field advantage here hosting Penn State?
Yes, they do. They just have such a great home advantage that you have to give them almost full home advantage. I think I give them 6 points. Their crowd's great. You maybe shave a point off for Penn State being better. Maybe 2 at the most. That'd be the most. I got to give at least 4 against anybody Wisconsin's playing. I had them earlier this year against Alabama, but Alabama took them out by the knees. And this is Luke Fickell for Wisconsin. Like I said at that point, if you're going to give me 2 touchdowns with Luke Fickell, I don't care who you're playing, anytime, I'm taking it. It didn't work then, but here If you're giving me points with Luke Fickell at home, I'm probably going to be on Wisconsin this week. I made Penn State 4, and that's adjusted for home field and everything. Penn State just 2-4 ATS this year. Wisconsin 3-5, and they're 5-2 now. I just see more. I see a better team every week out of Wisconsin,
Yes.
and this is because of Luke Fickell.
It was like a perfect spot for them against Purdue, and they just dominated. And then last week went on the road to Northwestern and won 23-3 and looked very good in that one. It was all Wisconsin the whole game.
This is a test this
So
week.
this is the
Big
test.
but I'll be
Getting
on,
6.5.
I'll be on the dog.
Yes, I will as well. I made Penn State a 3.5-point favorite, but Penn State is low on my top 10 compared to most people for power ratings. It is 9:28. We are going to take a quick break before we get into NFL and give our top 10 power ratings. Also go over run percentage, pass percentage, and pace of play. But first, there are a lot of hockey games. There's a couple that I just want to hit on because we do have differences in the line and mostly the totals here. So let's start out with a good one with this one I do not think we have a play on, but I just want to bring it up. Minnesota Wild and Florida Panthers. Florida, there has been no hangover from winning the Stanley Cup. They have looked very good all season long. What do you have this number at?
Yeah, I made the Panthers $1.57. And when I say I did, I like to be honest about everything. You really made this $1.57. You're the one that updates my power ratings for hockey. So I trust in you. I taught you how to do it. We had your first year, we adjusted almost together every day for the year. And then the next year, I think we adjusted for about a month. And at that point, I knew you had it. And your adjustments are very, very good on these teams. So 157, it's only 145. I love the streaks at the end. Wild. 3-0 to the 3-0, 3-game under streak. Very important to know. You know, it's like in baseball. I love playing the streaks and I love adding money to those streaks. So under would be I'd add money to the under, but there's no difference in the line. We have 5.5 over 30 and it's 5.5 over a quarter.
Any losing streaks that we need to add on?
Philadelphia's lost 4 in a row, and we had them a little higher. And the Capitals they've won 3 in a row. So we should be making Washington $1.11, but this line's very, very close. At that point, the Rangers have won 3 in a row. Montreal has lost 3 in a row. That's another 30 cents. We would push our 179 to 209, and the game's 215. So there we go. You know, that type of adjustment. I love it when you can make an adjustment and you're right on the number. It's just another good reason to take you off the game. We have a big difference in the Winnipeg-St. Louis game, but Winnipeg on a 5-game winning streak, you'd adjust 25 cents. We'd make Winnipeg $1.20. They are $1.54 in the market. Now, this is when we like under.
Yep.
You have it 5 over 20. We're looking at 6 under a quarter. I love it. It's going to take 7 goals to beat us here. And Winnipeg is one of my under teams because of Connor Hellebuck. And Jordan Binnington, still really, really solid goalie for the Blues.
Yes. So under 6 for us in that one. Have to lay a little bit, minus 125, try and shop around and get the best price there on that one. We've got Nashville hosting Boston. Still
need a win.
Still need a
5-game losing streak.
Would not
So
touch
it's hard.
that just
Yeah, we
yet.
can't touch them can't play on Nashville till they get a win, really. We're going to wait for them now. Losing 5 in a row, if you adjust our number down from 125, you'd be even money, and they're a favorite at $1.14. Going up against the Bruins, and I know you've dropped the Bruins rating a little bit because they have not played well either, but they have played better than the Nashville Predators have.
What do we have for Ottawa Senators going to Utah? 2 really good goalies in this one. Ullmark for the Senators and Ingram for Utah.
Yeah, another team on any type of a streak. Utah has won both their home games, though. We have them $1.31. They opened 108, really close to having a play on them, but missed it. Now it's $1.18. So again, you're looking for value and we're betting. You don't have to bet every game, and you want to bet the right price because that 10 cents, if you say, well, I still want to bet them, the line moved. I'm in agreement with the line movement. I'm going to lay the $1.18 and they lose. You lose $10 more on every 100 that you shouldn't have. There was a game you could have passed and it could win, but in the long run, you're going to end up losing on average $5 more on every 100, I think, than what you wanted to bet. So you're saving money by not betting. The next game, we have a little bit of an edge too. It's very close. It was more of a bet on the opener, but we have Calgary $1.32, 6.5 under 22. The total's right there, but the side, Pittsburgh opened 108. Now Calgary 112.
Wow. I do like how Calgary is playing. They have looked very good this year. Let's talk about the Kings and the Knights today. The Knights are coming off a 3-game road trip. They went 0-2-1 in that road trip. So trying to get back on the winning side. And here they are back at home, minus 125.
Yeah, and then I was just thinking about that because when I look at my sheet and I see the overall streak at L3, but the home away streak, which means at home win 3. Maybe I shouldn't adjust at all. I made them $1.53 off your numbers. 5.5 under 20. The total 6 under 20. This has turned into a little bit of a rivalry, and the Kings have a better record. I think you'll see a really strong effort out of the Knights. And I really feel like under Butch Cassidy, they have to be an under team. But boy, they do go over a lot at home the last couple of years. They score a lot of goals. The Kings are an under team to me. 2 in a row they've gone under, 2 in a row on the road they've gone under. And again, this is now a little bit more of a rivalry.
5.5 now at most shops, but maybe we could take the Kings team total under and allow the Knights to score as many goals as they want. That's it for hockey for us today and college football. We're going to take a quick break, and then we are going to break down NFL going into Week 8 here. Don't go anywhere. This is Sports by the Book.
South Point Casino has plenty of attractions for the whole family. Catch a movie. Our 16-screen movie theater includes 2 XD Extreme screens for the ultimate in viewing, sound, and luxury. After the show, treat the family to a variety of treats at our old-fashioned ice cream parlor, Kate's Corner. We scoop up a variety of creamy concoctions, including smoothies, hand-dipped cones, milkshakes, malts, sodas, and sundaes. At Kate's, there's something for everyone. And if you've still got time to spare, our bowling center might be right up your alley. Voted Best of Las Vegas, it's a great place for friends and family fun. 64 lanes, a pro shop, snack bar, and arcade. And while the kids are bowling, you can play slots and sip on a drink in the Alley Cat Lounge while overlooking the lanes. For our more serious and professional bowlers, the South Point is also home to a separate tournament bowling plaza.
Here we go. Welcome back. Sports by the Book here at the South Point studio. Kenny White alongside me. I'm Alex White. Happy to be here with you. Going to go over some NFL numbers. First, quick shout out to everybody in the chat. Risen Wave, Jerry, Vince, Dean Hilt, Billy, A. Gold, and Jim D. Appreciate all of you being in there. Quick shout out to A. Gold, because I know that she went 2-1 this past weekend, and her Duke team did win once again. So I missed that in the chat, and I know that was there yesterday. But please continue to give us any request for college football or NFL games that we will go over tomorrow. But let's get to the NFL. One of my favorite things to do here, looking at the run percentage, teams that are running the ball the most, and looking at their ATS, and then we will get to pass percentage. So let's start off with teams that are running the most. We just talked about a team with a dominant win yesterday over Tampa Bay. The Baltimore Ravens come in at number 1 at 54.4%. And then another team that had a big win Sunday night, Pittsburgh Steelers, number 2 at 53%.
Yeah, it's going to be a running team, and it was nice to see Russell Wilson back on the field and have a pretty decent game. So
I thought he brought a lot to their offense.
And again, he's really a preseason right now form. Give him another couple games, who knows what happens. Pittsburgh could be in really good shape with that defense and that running game right now, and you get Russell Wilson. Maybe you get the best of Russell Wilson, and if you do, look out.
Yeah, well, and you can tell that him and Tomlin get along, and there's just something weird in Denver. So I do want to see his second chance here in Pittsburgh and see how this plays out. But I'll finish. We're at third. We've got Washington Commanders continue to be impressive. Number 4, Philadelphia Eagles turn some things around. Big win over the Giants. And number 5, Detroit Lions.
Yeah, the Lions can run it when they're two-headed monster of Montgomery and Gibbs. Those guys are just so good. Again, I'm not knee-jerk reaction in my moving my power ratings unless I really feel it's necessary. And we had a play on Detroit, even with Hutchison out. Thought they were the better football team and they were getting points. Not a lot of points, just enough. And I turned the game on. It's 10-0. I'm like, what in the world? Is Minnesota really this good? And I watched the entire game. And then I look back, how did they get up 10-0? Well, there was a turnover by Detroit. They gave them a short field, and that's why they scored. But Goff was amazing. He just was incredible after setting an NFL record earlier in the year. He looked like he was going to do it again, and then he finally threw an incomplete pass. But his accuracy is really one of the best in football right now, and he's a top 5 quarterback in my power ratings.
He looks really good. Jeff Parles did give out last Thursday. Jared Goff, take a little flyer on him. I think it was 16-1 for MVP, and it is now 18-1. And thank you, Ryan. It is now down to 7-1. So
wow, big difference. Yeah, big difference. That's a really good flyer. Before that game against Minnesota, this is a good football team. It's a shame they lost Hutchinson because he's a big part of the heart and the soul of that defense. But they stepped up without him. It's just they're just not quite as good without him. But, man, Dan Campbell was really impressing me. He's a very good NFL coach because he really made this team from nothing, one of the weakest teams in the NFL, to now a top 5 football team. Got
to give Kevin O'Connell some credit, too, on the flip side and what he has done and bringing Sam Darnold's career back to life there in Minnesota. But we were talking about Texas, and I was thinking about this. Losing that heartbreak game to the Lions, and now Minnesota has to turn around and play on a Thursday. So we might have to take that into consideration for Thursday Night Football.
Yeah, that's a big game. And again, football players take a beating, and that was a very physical game. It's a division game, and we'll see how they respond to it. We'll see how they respond to coming off a loss. Everybody responds differently to wins and losses and how they perform the next week.
Do you want to run down 6 through 10 for our top rushing teams right now in the NFL?
Yeah, Green Bay checks in at number 6. Buffalo Bills, again, very solid rushing football team. The Chargers, again, we knew that was going to be with John Harbaugh. The Chiefs at number 9. Even with Patrick Mahomes, the Chiefs want to establish the run. And then the Arizona Cardinals, again, James Conner.
Yep.
With Kyler Murray, they're going to, and on that list, you just look at that list, even the bottom 4, Josh Allen, mobile quarterback, likes to run. Justin Herbert, very athletic. He will leave the pocket and take off. We know Patrick Mahomes, one of the best in football, just because of his athletic ability, and then Kyler Murray. So the Detroit Lions are the one team where their quarterback does not run a lot on that list, but they're still number 5 because they've got 2 great running backs.
That's right. And I don't even know if you brought up Jordan Love.
Jordan Love, yeah, he's got some mobility too, and at number 6, that's another good reason why they're up there. And that's why all of these teams do want mobile quarterbacks, because those quarterbacks with their legs are able to extend drives where quarterbacks that are pocket passers have to complete that pass, and sometimes it still may not be a big play to get that first down to continue the drive.
Something we have been tracking since week 1 in the NFL is their numbers against the spread. Here, I tallied up these 10 teams, 42, 22, and 2 against the spread so far this year.
And, if you look at the list, and the Cardinals played the Chargers, they're 8th and 10th on the list. You don't bet that game if that's all you're going off of, but you can't just go off that. You have to do your handicap, and you have to, figure out who the better team is. So that game was very close quarterback play, but I thought I had an edge with Harbaugh over Gannon in that game because of Harbaugh's experience coaching an NFL team, coaching everywhere. I mean, he has so much coaching. I always like to say it's a company, so he's the CEO of that company, and he's done it for many, many years, where Gannon is just in his 2nd year as a CEO. And it's going to take him some time for me to be a believer that he is that good of a coach.
Well, you can already see the changes that Jim Harbaugh has made there in Los Angeles. So it'll be a pretty quick turnaround for them. Let's go to passing percentage, our top 10, not the top 10 passing percentage teams right now in the NFL. You want to go 1 through 5?
Sure, throw the football around. Seattle has to do it. Surprising they have to do it because they have Kenneth Walker III. I would think they'd want to establish the run more, but 66%. Also, they lost their best wide receiver, Metcalf. Not sure the extent of the injury, how long he'll be out, but I know he did get injured in that game. And a big win for them. They go to Atlanta and really looked very, very good. Dallas, Dak's had to throw the ball. They've been trailing. They've been playing fast and throwing it. The Jets, same thing, trailing in a lot of games and have had to throw the football. They have to get back to running it. The Browns, another team that they just continue to fall behind and have to throw the football. The Raiders, same boat, same story.
Nick Chubb did come back for Cleveland. Now no Deshaun Watson. I believe we will see Jameis Winston get the start there for them as well. So we'll see what changes they could make. Number 6 on this list, Cincinnati Bengals. Number 7, New York Giants. 8, Carolina Panthers. 9, Patriots. And 10, the Falcons. Falcons move back up to that list after trailing from the Seahawks. And you were talking about mobile quarterbacks, and Kirk Cousins is very good, but, he'll have those games. And this last game against the Seahawks, I think he had 3 picks in that game. They really struggled. But go along.
They have 2 great running backs, the Falcons. They need to get to running the football. And that's why I thought they would be good, because if you can run the football and you have a quarterback like Kirk Cousins, that run sets up the pass to make it more lethal, and he can be a very accurate quarterback. But if you can't run and the defense knows it, again, they start to put pressure on you. You're rushed a little bit, and you throw passes you don't want to throw.
To your point, though, with just not betting strictly off of this, I mean, the Cincinnati Bengals, they did cover against the Browns, so I guess that would have been a pass there. But when you have a quarterback like Joe Burrow, he can make things happen, and that is why they throw more, even though they are trying to establish their run game as well now.
Yeah, very true. But they were trailing in a lot of games early in the year. So that's another big reason why they're probably a higher percentage. I think you'll see that come down. The Bengals may disappear off that list in a couple of weeks.
22, 43, and 4 against the spread for those 10 teams right there. And there are a couple that we could take off of there that haven't been terrible against the spread. But overall, that is our ATS for teams that are passing.
Yeah, that list looks like a bunch of underachievers, except for maybe Seattle and Cincinnati, maybe they're the 2 teams that you're talking about that has a decent ATS record.
Let's go to pace of play quickly before we go to our top 10. We will start with the quickest pace. Here we go. Looks kind of similar to our passing percentage here. Dallas Cowboys, number 1, 25.9 seconds per play. Colts, we know that they are more of an up-tempo team, 26.8. Falcons come in at 26.9. Seahawks right there at 27.1. And the Saints, 28.7. Saints have kind of just bumped up on this list, right, without Derek Carr and having Spencer Rattler in there. But quicker teams, I didn't do their ATS, but just looking at it, we know a few of those are on the wrong side that you want to be betting.
Yeah, no doubt about it. We know their ATS records are poor, and looking at the Cowboys, they're just so much faster than everybody else, 25.9 seconds. Because we get down to the 5th team, the Saints, they're at 28.7 seconds. And the Rams, the Cardinals, they're all right there. That's not a bad tempo. And again, you want to be balanced, and you want to, I like the concept that defensive coordinators use, that they like to be conservative and run the ball for the fact keeping your defense fresh. You can have a great defense and you go up and down the field and score, and you're going to wear your defense out because they're on the field way too much. So you want to be able to play some ball control, especially when you have the lead late. The Patriots did it for years, and the Chiefs are now doing it. And there's a lot of other teams that, that are trying to copy that strategy, and rightfully so. You should, because you're right. Looking at this list, a lot of underachievers and a lot of bad ATS records.
But we know there are times, and I think that's what you're getting to with the Saints, the Falcons, the Eagles. We've seen them and seen moments where they have to go up tempo, especially that fourth quarter, and they're very efficient and move the ball down quickly. But see, at the end of the game, they aren't too worried about their defense getting back on, and they are just trying to finish it out and win that game. So That is very interesting. 5 through 10 right there could potentially not even be on the list of the quickest. They're pretty average.
It's so close. Yeah, they're right around the league average. But Colts, Falcons, Cowboys are definitely, and Seahawks. The top 4 are definitely a huge difference when you're looking at from number 4 to number 5. That's 1.6 seconds per play, and that's a big difference. So when you think about, we'll go to the other side of this list is like a 6-second difference. There you go. The Chargers at 32.8. There's 10 plays in a drive. Let's say if you go the length of football field and that 10 plays, that's 60 seconds. That's an extra full minute. Doesn't seem like a lot, but to an NFL player to get that extra time, and that's if the clock was continued to run that entire time. When you're slower, you get a little bit more methodical drives and you get more plays, and you get plays where, the clock does stop at times. So it's just you're giving your defense time to rest, to go back on the field to be good.
Look at this list right here. I mean, how many teams on that list are in your top 10? Quite a few, right? I mean, the Chiefs, the Ravens, the Bills. I don't know if the Commanders are there just yet. The Steelers definitely are.
Commanders are 13th. They're knocking on the door. Steelers, you're right. Yep. Tampa Bay, 10th. Minnesota Vikings. Even though they lost this past week, their rating went up 0.5 a point because of the competition who they played, and they played very well. They deserved a bump in my ratings because of how they played. So they're getting there as well. San Francisco, we know, is one of the best. Tennessee, on the bottom half of the list. Chargers, 17th right now, about an average NFL football team.
I had to bring the Titans down too. They hung in that game, first half against the Bills, and then it was just all Buffalo. And they have a very good defense, but they could not slow down the Bills.
Again, their quarterback, Mason Rudolph, had not played all year, basically. So he's still in preseason form, just like Russell Wilson. Give Russell Wilson a couple more games, and he could regress next game. But don't go to sleep on him, because after 2 or 3 starts, you're going to see a better Russell Wilson.
Very interesting. He will be playing Monday night this next week, so a little extra time rest there for him and the Steelers. They will host the New York Giants.
Yeah, that's, this is a perfect game for Pittsburgh. At home against a weak Giant team. Coaching mismatch, a better offense, better defense, sets up for... This is probably going to be, I can't say it's, I thought it was going to be one of the higher survivor picks of the week. Survivor picks were in the circa 120 and 2, or 124 and 2.
Only 2 people out this past week.
Only 2 people fell out this past week in Survivor. So you're thinking, oh my gosh, I got to win. It's going to be great. And then you see the standings and only 2 people dropped out. It was nice to see that there were no-shows. Everybody that's left did get their pick in, and rightfully so. Those tickets are worth close to $100,000 now each, calculating the perceived value on those, implied value. When I looked at it and thought, Steelers would be a big play, but man, I looked up the list. Broncos 7.5, Chiefs 9.5, Chargers 7.5, Jets 7.5, Ravens a 9-point favorite, and the Lions 11.5-point favorite. We finally have some really big favorites in the NFL. We're getting to see the top teams play the bottom teams.
Okay, but 7.5 for the Chargers or 7.5 for the Broncos. I don't know if we're there yet with those 2 teams.
Chargers, well, they're playing the Saints, who have not looked good, and Spencer Rattler going out on the road. And it may not be Spencer Rattler. It's got to be Jake Haener this week. Haener played much better. He played better than Rattler did in that game, the last game on a Thursday night. So still, though, young quarterback up against the Chargers, who are coming off a loss. Do you want to lay points with those teams? No. I think you're right. You'd rather look at the Lions against Tennessee. You would want to look at the Ravens against Cleveland, obviously. And to me, though, Pittsburgh against the Giants would be the one that I would be looking at in a survivor.
Yes. Little extra time.
Pick'em survivor.
Yes. Oh, pick'em.
Not a last man standing survivor. Okay. On a pick'em survivor. But just you're right, on a point spread survivor. And again, but I agreed with you talking about the Chargers and Jets and Broncos. Would I want to lay points in a point spread survivor? No, you're right. I wouldn't want to. Again, I would go back to the same teams, but I don't like to lay points if I don't have to, and try to find some underdogs this week. But that looks like a challenging schedule, and I didn't even get a chance to look at it because of everything going on. I haven't even handicapped the 2 NBA games, but I'd love to do that and haven't done it yet, but we could do it right here on the show from what my dad gave us yesterday.
Okay, perfect. First, let's just quickly flash up our top 10 going into this week. So we can go through those. I don't think there's many changes. I'll start with mine really quick. I do have a tie at 10 with the Philadelphia Eagles and the LA Chargers. Then I have a 4-way tie right here. 6 to 9, all the same exact rating, with the Green Bay Packers, Minnesota Vikings, Pittsburgh Steelers, and Houston Texans. Buffalo, number 5, really good win over a good Tennessee defense. Number 4, San Francisco 49ers moved down from 3 for me, but still up there in the top 5. Ravens move up to number 3. Very impressive win. I'm surprised they aren't even higher. Detroit Lions, number 2, and Kansas City Chiefs, number 1. Those are my top 10.
It's becoming very interesting because now I have an 18-point difference from top to bottom. The Chiefs, number 1 on my list as well. 2.5 points better than Baltimore. I really have a feeling, though, the Chiefs are due for a stretch of some bad games. They've just played so well for a 2-time champion that it seems like sooner or later, and now coming off a win over San Francisco, seems like it could be a letdown spot for them. And who do the Chiefs have? They are here at the Raiders. Hate to bet the Raiders at any time, even getting that many points at home. But
Aiden O'Connell does have a thumb injury, so they are going back to Minshew, and also picked up Desmond Ridder.
Okay, very good news. And really not much of a difference, I don't think, between the 2 quarterbacks right now. Baltimore, I have number 2, tied. So I have a tie at number 2. San Francisco and Baltimore, both a 108 rating, 2.5 points behind the Chiefs. The Eagles are number 4 on my list. Detroit at number 5. And then a 2-point drop to number 6. The Bills, the Steelers at number 7. But I really like how they're playing. I really do. And number 8 is the Bengals, who have had a tough schedule, tied with the Packers at number 8 and the Tampa Bay Bucks. I got a 3-way logjam at 10. Tampa Bay, Atlanta, and the Jets. And those 2 teams, I do not like the way they're playing, though, the Falcons and Jets. They do have good talent, but I'm expecting Washington to maybe leapfrog them soon.
Whoa. The Jets, though, I think they lost 4 in a row now. The Falcons had 1 bad game, and the Seahawks were coming off a bye week. It's kind of a perfect spot for them, so we'll see about the Falcons coming up this week. But all 3 of those are tied at 10?
Yeah, I have 3 of them tied at 10.
I apologize. I missed that, filling out that sheet. So it should be Tampa Bay, Atlanta, and New York Jets there. Okay, well, we're going to give this a shot. Thank you, everybody who is writing in the chat. I have those games, thanks to Vince. So we will cover all of those games tomorrow. We have at least 7 or 8.
You know what? One thing I noticed when I was looking at my ratings this morning, when I saw double digits for coaches' years, there's only 3 coaches that have coached more than 10 years. Andy Reid, they're number 1. John Harbaugh, they're number 2. And Mike Tomlin, they're number 7. And then I thought, well, what about who else has been in the league a long time? There are 3 coaches that have been in the league 7 years or more. Kyle Shanahan with San Francisco, number 3. Sean McDermott with the Bills, number 6.
Wow.
And the lonely failure so far, Sean McVay, 7 years with the Rams, and I've got him number 29. But amazing that the 6 coaches that have been in the league the longest, 5 of them are in the top 7.
You got to
5 of the top 7 are coaches with stability.
Yeah, it is amazing. And you got to give Sean McVay a little grace, though, because he's had terrible injuries all year and still found a way to win a couple of those games that they definitely shouldn't have. But let's give this a shot with NBA. We do have 2 games, and you're going to take a look at these teams. We got the New York Knicks and the defending champs, the Boston Celtics, is the first game. Let me pull up the lines there. And sorry to our crew because we did not have this on our sheet that we would be talking about it today.
Celtics get their rings tonight, so that's, a little difficult, and I'm sure there's revenge. I didn't look into that, but just looking at the numbers, we got a 9-point difference between the 2 teams and a strong home edge. to make this game about 14.5, but give 2.5 points for the revenge factor, because I know there is. And Boston, this lineup is just tremendous. Jason Tatum in his prime still, and Jaylen Brown, and Drew Holiday's been around for a long time, 15 years, and Horford 17 years, but these guys can still play. They're in great shape. Their bench is excellent. Derek White, another guy that's a an all-pro type of player. So there is so much talent on this Celtic team, and I do like the Knicks team. But again, they're just not as good as the Boston Celtics. This looks like a cheap number at home, even though you would think letdown. They're going to be fired up and they're going to be ready to play. It's like an NFL team winning the Super Bowl and opening it up on Thursday night. They've had some success. I think you're going to see, Boston go through maybe a small slump during the season, but not in game one.
And the Knicks did have a few more changes on their roster than Boston, so it may take a little time for them to get in sync and play well together. So one more game on the board. What do we have? Lakers hosting Minnesota Timberwolves. Thank you, Ryan.
We'll see what is going to happen to Bronny James if he makes the roster or not. I don't know. It's probably out there, and I'm sure the roster has to be set because they are playing tonight. But we'll see if this is history tonight with father-son playing in the same game. Lakers are the better basketball team between these two. I think they're probably worth a good bet tonight. I like what I've seen out of them. Just LeBron James and AD, when they're healthy and they're on the court at the same time. Austin Reeves has been a mainstay in this lineup. He's continued to improve, averaged close to 16 a game last year, and D'Angelo Russell now with a full year under his belt as the point guard. This team's got really good passers with Reeves, Russell, and James. I think they're going to be a tough out. I like Rui Hachimura. He'll be in the lineup as well. So we have the Lakers, a better team, and playing at home tonight. I'll be on the Lakers. This game did open 1.5 here, and was bet down to 1.
How do you have Dalton Connect rated on that Lakers team?
Boy, he looked so good in the last exhibition game that I saw him play. Still as a rookie rating, he's going to be below average. He's going to be inconsistent throughout the year, but I can see him becoming, a really good NBA player. I don't think he's the kind of guy that steps in, and he's going to get some time, and he's probably going to get more time early. If he continues to play well, he'll get more time, but again, just a rookie. So I don't expect a lot out of him. It
will be very interesting to see if we do have LeBron and Bronny on the court. I know they are trying to make that happen sooner rather than later. So
there's no doubt they have to make it happen right away. I think they have to make it happen tonight. Is in my thinking, is Bronny doesn't deserve to be in the league. I don't think he should have played 3 more years of college basketball. Dalton Connect played at Northern Colorado and then got an opportunity to go to Tennessee and proved himself, and he did against some of the best players in the country. Bronny played at USC. Don't believe he was a starter even as a freshman. So he's there because his dad
could have used some more time in college, or maybe in the G League for a little bit. But that's it for us today. We appreciate all of you. I have the games for tomorrow. Looking forward to going through those with you. For Kenny White, I'm Alex White. Thank you, Ryan, Vince, and Andrew back there. We'll see you again tomorrow. Don't forget Punchlines FN, different YouTube channel. They will be with you at 12 o'clock noon. We'll be back with you at 9 a.m. tomorrow. Thanks, everybody, for watching. We'll see you soon.